people don't realize, because of the investment in the generosity, the commitment of collectors around the world, we can provide exhibition for free to everyone. And many people see this gallery like something for rich people, but it's unfair. We are one of the only passion or hobby totally free. You can come to visit.
More accessible than museums. It's more accessible than museums because you don't have to pay.
Exactly. And we was giving a lot of information. Well, now it's QR code, so it's easy. But before we was giving some leaflet, we was giving access to information. And the fact people can go to a bookstore, reading books about different artists of the program of the gallery, it's also something to help younger artists or artists less successful to have a kind of visibility all the year. But it gives also possibility to people to buy posters at 20 euro or to buy some small object they can collect. And when we started with Murakami very early to make print at 300 edition, we were selling them for 100 euro. And I remember during the art fair of FIAC in Paris, on 2 days, I was selling 2,000 print. What was making my employee at this time want to do strike. They was tired. There was people was screaming to get access directly without to make lines. It was like a real like a booth of Supreme, you know, before Supreme exists. And it was a nice experience, and we really enjoy. Donc Takashi is a master for that. You know, he built a full activity around that, and it's very generous because when you think about how much energy he spent to do all that, to give access to everyone, and it's very complicated to do it for many artists because it costs a lot of money, it costs a lot of energy. You take a lot of risk to do it. But personally, I know we help many artists to build a more reputation, more, you know, any of your visitors own something from your artist, they feel to be part of the story. If it's a poster they have at home, they collect something. Sometimes people tell me, oh yes, I bought Murakami from your gallery. And I'm, you know, I remember many of my clients of Murakami, and after a certain moment, I realized they talk by a print of Murakami. Donc they own something of Murakami, and donc they are ambassadors of Murakami in a way. And it's good to give access to this possibility to many younger artists. But again, you take risk to do it. And after it looks easy when you start to have a real group of places to sell all this, and when it starts to be profitable because many of your artists start to be popular. But at the beginning, it's really, really risky, and you can lose a lot of money to do it, and you have to be very dedicated on it. And yes, it's not easy. It's never easy in any.
I really felt this came from your relationship with Murakami. I was sure, but I wanted to hear it because it goes so much together. And also for those who grew up with manga culture, and you know, this is so much part of the culture, and to see the gallery so precise in delivering that with artists that are not Japanese, because you do it with all your, I mean, with those who are. So it's a great, I think it's a great way to bring culture, really.
You mentioned something, you remind me something special. I don't know for Italy, but for France, when I was young, we was watching manga. We was watching Albator, Goldorak. I don't know, maybe they are not the name in, you know, Goldorak? You know,
I don't know. God, maybe, you know, in Italy they also translate everything, Emmanuel. So
yes,
maybe it's
maybe
in a different way.
But all the cartoon we was watching, many of them was Japanese. And when I started to show Murakami in Japan, in New York, in the Gramercy Park Art Fair, or in Chateau Marmont, in Los Angeles, my colleagues from America didn't have the reference. They didn't know manga because
they have the American comics.
Because the protection of all the industry of comics was resisting to manga. Donc they didn't have this reference. For them, it was aesthetically another world. They didn't know that. And you know, the big difference between comics and manga is you have secretion, you have sexuality, you have blood, you have violence. You know, when in American comics, all this is, you know, totally, you can have, you know, including in Marvel, in a way, you have violence, but it's not so violent. You know, you don't see.
Definitely not sexuality, which you have very.
Sexuality, for sure. For sure. No, it was a real surprise for them. It was a huge surprise, you know. And yes, it was very interesting intellectually and sociologically to be witness of that.
Amazing. My last question, Emmanuel, it's really about the scene in Japan. Like, from your perspective, being so many times and for so long, what is really, you know, how do you think it's a good way to find new artists? If there is like maybe a gallery or a place or a venue that you would recommend, you have a young gallerist who wants to discover the scene, what's your suggestion? What's your advice as a veteran of the scene from the outside, but really inside the scene for so long?
You know, I told you this area next to the Mori Museum, next in Roppongi Hill area, the name of the building is Pyramid Building, where you have a good group of gallery. We are maybe, I will say 8 or maybe 10. And you have around that couple of other gallery next to Pyramid Building. And no, it's quite easy. It's not like Berlin or London at some point. Now it's more easy in London, but at some point it was so long also to go from one. After, now you have Sky the Bat House in Pyramid Building. You have a first link. For sure, the bigger gallery is quite far away from there, from that. You have a couple of other area, you know, or some gallery alone by themselves. But the Japanese scene is quite united. They looks to be friendly to each other, and the Art Fair Tokyo will help everyone for sure to meet them, and it's quite good. We have a new strong art fair in Japan. It was necessary, and we really hope the fair will succeed to bring more people to be interested by contemporary art in Japan.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This was a super interesting conversation, and I think really, I think this idea of being in another place always create very strong experiences. I think that this idea of like otherness or strangeness, which I think with your galleries you experience always, except for Paris, really brings a new set of ideas, and I think that's also a great benefit of our field, because it's one of the most international and interconnected fields in which you can really create friendships and connections with people in so many different places, which I think it's way more difficult if you are like a writer or even a cinema director. I think with art, things are so small in a way, still, even with the global field.
But we can thank Japan to stay a place exotic, because with the globalization, with internet, so many things look the same everywhere. So many with all the shop, all the Starbucks, all the, you know, Japan stay a place with its own personality. The fact they was closed for 2 centuries and stay by themselves makes them a real experience. And we can thank them, because it's difficult not to look the same to everyone. And we need difference. We need a variation of people, and Japanese are a real, you know, in my mind, you know, they are very, very important for the world.
Great. I think our time is over. I really want to thank you for really sharing
Thank you to you.
your point of view, and I hope we will meet at some point. I don't know where. I mean, I'm next time in Paris or in New York, or maybe in Tokyo.
Or if I open a gallery in Israel.
Yeah, that's let's
Why
talk.
not?
This would be a great gift to the scene. We need to think about that. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
If someone listening us until the end, you know, thank you to
Of
him.
course. Thank you to
This really
those
video,
who...
it's 3 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes to convince normally. 1
Yes,
hour
yes.
looks long.
Absolutely. I join Emmanuel thanking everybody.
And thanks to my team to help me to prepare this talk.
Thank you. And thanks to
very much.
everyone at the gallery. Thank you so much.
See you soon.